We're now going to look at placing some dimensional constraints. So let's just pan this shape up a little bit. And we're going to work at the base of the shape first of all, and I want a linear constraint. And I want it to go from this point here to this point here. And as I drag it downwards like that, you can see that D1 is 11.5380. I don't want it to be that, so I'm going to edit that now. I'm going to just highlight that there, and I'm going to make it 12.0000 like that, and enter. And you'll see the shape update. So if I now show those constraints, you can see that D1 is 12 there. Now the reason it's only showing the 12 is because in my manager here, I've set dynamic constraints there to only show value. I could show name and expression like that, but I only want values in this case. So hence it's only showing the number there. I'll OK that now. I'm going to place another linear constraint now. So linear constraint, and I'm going to go from this point here to this point here and drag that down. That's 3.9050. I'm going to double click in there and change that value to 4.0000 and enter, like so. Now you'll notice they've got two sets of zeros there, making 4 zeros. What I want to do there is I want to reduce that number of zeros. I only want 2 really. So I need to change the units. That's easy. I just type in units like so and press enter. And you'll see length there is set to decimal. I'll change that to 2 decimal places like so and OK that. You'll see that update. So I haven't got 2 sets of 2 zeros anymore. Now I'm going to place one more linear parameter now, and it's a vertical one. So linear, and I'm going from this point here to this point here. Take it this way. I've got 7.64 there. I click in the box. I'm going to change that to 8, like so, and press enter. Notice it updates to the 2 decimal places I set previously. What I'm going to do now is place a radial constraint. So let's go to the dimensional panel, and I want radial here. So I click on radial, and I want to constrain these radii here, that one there. And at the moment, the value there is 0.5125. So let's place that, and I'm going to edit that now. I don't want it to be 0.51, I want it to be 0.375, and enter, like so. Notice it all constrains the way it should, as you can see. So the next step now is to add a linear down here. So I need a linear one down here. Now you notice that's a shape, it's a polyline. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to place a linear constraint between that endpoint and that endpoint. So let's zoom in a bit. So that's a linear constraint there, and it's going from there to there. And I bring it down and click. Now I'm going to change the whole thing now. It's not going to be D4 this time. I'm actually going to type in an actual constraint variable, so to speak, and I'm going to call it shape width, like so, and then equals, and I'm going to give it a value of 1.125 and press enter. Now I'll still constrain it there, but it's now got a variable name, and you'll see why in a moment. Let's put an angular constraint now. So angular here, I'm going to select this line here, that first line there, and then this line here. And I want to put the angular constraint out this way, up here like this. Can you see there? Don't go down here, but up here, like that. And I click there. And the angle 1 there is going to change to 30 degrees. So I'll put 30 in there and press enter. Notice this side changes and this side changes because it's a shape. It's a polyline. So I've put my shape width in and my angular constraint now. I'm now going to place another linear dimensional constraint down here. So you can see this one here. See this line here? I'm going to go for linear, and I'm going to go from this point here to this point here and take it out this way. Now at the moment it's 1.87. I'm going to change that to my new variable name. So I'm going to put D4 equals, and I'm going to just type in shape width. Remember that variable I set up a moment ago? Press enter, and that updates. Can you see that to 1.13, the same value as this one here? So let's just zoom out slightly now so that we can see all of our dimensional constraints. I'm now going to place another linear dimensional constraint, but I'm going to utilize my parameters manager. So if I click now on the parameters manager here, what you'll see is all of the expressions that I've already created there. There's my dimensional constraints, the expression, and the value there. So what I'm going to do is create a new user-created dimensional constraint here. So I click there, it asks for the name, so I'm going to call it inside height, like so. Now the expression is going to be 2.25 here. So I click in the box, change that value from 1 to 2.25, like so. That's the distance that it will be. So I press enter there, and that's all gone in like so, and there's the value. So I can now close my parameters manager, like that, and that parameter now is ready to go. So if I now place a linear parameter here, and I want it to go from this point here to this point here, that's my inside height there. Now at the moment it's currently 3.94. I'm just going to type in inside height, like that, and press enter. And as you can see, it updates it to 2.25 as per the parameter I set in the parameters manager. Now the good thing is these are now all set. What I can do is click on Show Dynamic Constraints and they all disappear. Everything is done, all my dynamic constraints are in place. If I click on Show Dynamic Constraints again, there they are on the screen. So as you can see, dynamic constraints allow you to parametrically constrain the sizes of the geometry you're creating.